The evening sun sagged low, dripping molten orange across the cul-de-sac as I stepped out onto my new porch. It should have been peaceful. It should have felt like the beginning of something good. Instead, the air held a tension that didn't belong to quiet suburbs. I sensed it a second before I heard her heels, sharp, territorial clicks on pavement. Then she appeared, Karen Maddox, queen of the HOA and tyrant of the block, storming toward my house as if it had personally insulted her. She didn't slow down. She didn't breathe. She moved like a verdict already decided. Before I could even greet her, she marched up my steps and slammed her fist against my door hard enough to rattle the frame. I opened it halfway, more out of shock than politeness, and she shoved her face closer, eyes narrowed with suspicion and entitlement. "You don't belong here," she snapped. "People your age don't own homes. So save us both time and tell me whose name is actually on the deed." Her voice carried that HOA sharpness, synthetic authority mixed with the arrogance of someone who had never been told no. She stared at me like she was waiting for me to crack. Like she enjoyed the idea. "I own it," I said, keeping calm, though a cold, irritated knot twisted in my gut. "And if you want proof, I can get the deed. It's inside." She didn't blink. Didn't soften. She wasn't interested in truth, she wanted control. A target. And she'd chosen me. "Young people lie," she said. "You probably snuck in. Renting illegally. Squatting. Something shady. I'll find out." She jabbed a manicured finger toward my chest. "We do not tolerate dishonesty in this neighborhood." Her certainty was almost impressive in how delusional it was. Behind her, someone else stepped into view. A man, tall, broad-shouldered, his badge clipped to his belt catching the dying sunlight. Detective Elias Gray. Karen's nephew. He didn't approach, didn't interrupt, just watched with a gaze that carried something darker than suspicion. It was sharper. Calculating. A man taking in a crime scene that hadn't happened yet. His eyes lingered on me for a moment longer than they should have. Not judgment. Not distrust. Something else, something I couldn't decipher but felt all the way down my spine. "Elias," Karen barked, whipping around, "tell her she needs to provide documentation immediately. She's up to something. I can feel it." He didn't answer. He didn't even look at her. I met his gaze, trying to read him. He looked away only after several seconds, turning his attention back to Karen with the reluctant patience of someone used to cleaning up her messes. "Aunt Karen," he said finally, voice low and steady, "let's not escalate anything. She hasn't done anything wrong." Karen scoffed, outraged. "You're taking her side? You don't know what she's capable of." His eyes flicked back to me, not accusatory, but curious. Maybe too curious. The sun dipped fully behind the houses, leaving the street colder, darker. Karen's voice kept rising, sharp and venomous, but Elias wasn't listening anymore. He was studying me. Assessing me. As if, in that moment, I had become the real reason he was here. And I had the sinking feeling that whatever this was, it wasn't ending tonight. It was only beginning. The night settled thick over the neighborhood, heavier than it should have been. Willowcrest was the kind of place where porch lights stayed on and alarms beeped softly as families locked their doors. But mine was the only house awake at 2 a.m., lights off, silence stretching from wall to wall, the kind of quiet that makes every sound too loud. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, feeling that strange prickle again, that instinct that something was wrong. Something watching. Something waiting. Then I heard it. A soft metallic scratch. Too precise to be wind. Too careful to be an animal. I sat up, holding my breath. Another faint click followed, slow and deliberate, like fingers working inside a lock. Someone was picking my front door. I slid out of bed silently, bare feet on cold floor, pulse thumping against my throat. I grabbed my phone and crept down the hallway, staying close to the shadowed walls. The lock gave one final surrendering pop. My door eased open. A sliver of streetlight spilled into my living room, revealing the silhouette of a woman stepping inside. Karen. Her posture tight with triumph, not fear, as if breaking into my home was simply another item on her nightly to-do list. Behind her, another figure hovered just outside the doorway. "She's hiding something," Karen whispered. "I know it." "Karen," the second figure hissed, "this is illegal." But she waved him off and moved deeper into my house. I backed up slowly, keeping quiet, but a floorboard betrayed me with a soft creak. Karen froze. Her head snapped toward the hallway. I flicked on the nearest light. And there he was, Detective Elias Gray, standing between us as if he'd materialized out of the dark. His jaw was clenched, his eyes colder than I'd ever seen them. "Not at me. At her." "Aunt Karen," he said, stepping inside and shutting the door behind him, "what are you doing?" She stiffened, caught but unwilling to admit it. "I told you, we needed evidence." "She's lying. No one her age owns a house unless there's something criminal behind it. We're just checking." "By breaking and entering?" Elias's voice grew dangerously low. Karen's face twisted. "Don't take that tone with me. I'm protecting this neighborhood." Elias moved closer, placing himself directly between her and me. He glanced back at me for a split second, concern flickering across his expression, too real to be duty. Something in my chest tightened in response. "Did she force the lock?" he asked me quietly. "She picked it," I said. Karen threw up her hands. "Oh, please. She's manipulating you. Look at her, she's got you wrapped around her finger already." Elias didn't look at her. He reached for his cuffs. "A break-in is a break-in," he said. "You're under arrest." Karen stumbled backward, eyes wide with shock. "You can't be serious." "Elias, I am your family." He hesitated, just 1 second, but his eyes drifted back to me, softening, darkening with something unspoken. Whatever he found there made his resolve lock back into place. "You crossed a line," he said. And as he took her wrists and snapped the cuffs shut, Karen screamed accusations, threats, promises of revenge. But Elias kept his gaze fixed on me, steady and unreadable, as if he wasn't arresting his aunt so much as choosing a side. And everything in the room shifted. Because it felt like the moment the crime ended. And something far, far more dangerous began. Karen's screaming echoed through the narrow hallway like a trapped animal thrashing in a cage, every word soaked in fury and desperation. The interrogation room's glass vibrated with her voice. She was cuffed to a steel table, the overhead light turning her face harsh and jagged. She ranted about bylaws, property values, and keeping the neighborhood pure, as if any of those excuses could undo breaking into my home at 2 a.m. But her noise faded the moment Elias closed the door behind us. The hallway was dim, humming with fluorescent lights that buzzed like dying insects. He walked beside me, not touching, but close enough that I felt the gravity of him. The kind of pull that wasn't physical so much as instinctive. Dangerous. Impossible to ignore. "She won't get away with it," I said softly, unsure why I was talking first. "She won't," he replied. "But that's not what I'm worried about." I looked up at him. He wasn't watching the hallway or the closed door behind us. He was watching me, gaze steady, jaw tight as if he were holding something back too forcefully. "Then what are you worried about?" I asked. He exhaled slowly, almost a sigh. "You." My pulse stuttered. "Not from fear. Something else." "I can handle myself," I said. "That's what I'm afraid of," he murmured. He stepped closer. The distance shrinking, the air tightening, the fluorescent light turning shadows across his face into something almost predatory. Not of violence, of intensity. Of emotion he had no business feeling. "You shouldn't stay alone tonight," he said. His voice was low, controlled. Too controlled. "She's been escalating. And people like her, they don't stop because you tell them to." "People like her?" I repeated. He hesitated, then leaned a little closer, lowering his voice so the security cameras wouldn't catch everything. "Obsessive. Righteous. Convinced they're the hero in a story where everyone else is the villain." "And you?" I asked. "What kind of person are you?" His eyes flicked to my mouth for a heartbeat before lifting again. "The kind who's supposed to be objective." A bitter edge cut through his tone. "The kind who shouldn't be feeling this." The hall seemed to narrow, everything tightening around us. Something dark, charged, and forbidden threaded between his words. "Elias," I whispered, though I didn't know what I meant to say. "You don't understand," he said. I knew she was planning something. I heard the way she talked. I should have stopped her sooner. I should have protected you. "You did," I said. "You showed up. Too late." His voice cracked in a way I'd never heard. "Not because of the law. Because the thought of something happening to you," he swallowed hard, his composure fracturing. "It affected me more than it should." Karen's voice suddenly pierced through the door again, shrill and furious, shouting his name. Accusing. Threatening. But he didn't turn toward her. He didn't even flinch. He stepped close enough that I felt the heat of him, his breath brushing my cheek. "Case closed," he whispered. "But this, whatever this is, between us, it isn't." The door rattled as Karen screamed. "Elias. You'll regret this." But for the first time tonight, he smiled. Not soft. Not kind. Something darker. "Not a chance," he murmured, eyes locked on mine. And I knew the crime was over. But the danger had only just begun.